Right, so I see this funny little question on lists and strings. In fact, I don't know if I can zoom in on this. No, I actually can. That's quite nice. Okay, so again, I've snipped this out of Twitter because I saw it on Twitter. But what is the output of this silly code is what it says. It's actually not as silly as you think. Um, Again, it's one of these pieces of code that kind of like makes you need to think. So the options are: will you get a syntax error? Will you get a runtime error? Will you get Python, or will you get Python sort of like split into its components here? And this is the actual piece of code. Let me just make this a tiny bit bigger and zoom in. Oops, sorry. There we go. Our code is this, and I've kind of like written it up here, and I will zoom into it on my piece of code. So you've got this list. My list equals this empty list. So we've created this empty list, and then we've got my list plus equals Python, which is you're sort of like adding something to the list in some way. And my thoughts are like, so the first thing is that A and B are unlikely to be wrong. In this case, it is most likely to be C or D. But we can go and try and actually do this. Now, normally you'll do something like my list.append, or my list equals my list plus something, or something like that. Um, so I'm going to go into the code now. I've sort of like written it all out already, and we can kind of like run this and have a look at what happens. So let me just move this out of the way for a minute. We don't need that there anymore. And I will control plus on the code here. So that's exactly the same piece of code, which is my list equals empty list, and then my list plus equals Python. I've used a lowercase p. That's not going to make a difference, and then print my list. And then when we hit F5 to run it, we get this, which is Python, which is this answer. If I can pull it up, it's answer number D over here. So this one here is our answer. And we'll go and have a look into the reasons why. So let's just delete all of that and go back to arrow. But one of the things to note is, and I did this on Google Bard, and I pull my Bard in as well because it just highlights something. And I've typed this into Bard actually, which is because what this has done is it's actually converted, and I'll put this in, it's converted a list or a string to a list of characters in Python. And I actually put this little chat into Google Bard, one of these AI agents, convert a string to a list of characters in Python. I'll zoom in a tiny bit on that one as well so that you can see it. Oops, don't need to have that there. And it goes, sure, here are some ways to convert a list to a string in Python, and it gives you like the conventional way, and this is kind of like what you would normally do, which is you would have your same empty list here, so you'd have this my list, like that, and then you would do something like, and they've kind of like got it here, like for character in string, right? So for char, we'll shorten it in, and then well, actually, sorry, they've got the string, so you would have had to have had a string here. String. I'll just put. You know what I'll do? I'll do for C and S. There we go. I'm going to keep using this. S equals Python. So it'd be something like this. I could have copied the Bard stuff out straight away, but if I break this, I'll copy the Bard stuff out. But for C and S, my list dot append, and then put in C. That's kind of like the conventional way of doing it. So it'd be something like this. And notice that I was careful to reinitialize it, because if I didn't reinitialize it, then my list was already appended from there. So now I've kind of like made it blank again. So, and then if you were to print out my list, which I can steal from here and put over here and run our piece of code, we'll get exactly the same Python and Python. So this was sort of like said, well, this is a silly piece of code. In a way, you kind of like agree it is a silly piece of code, but actually, it's done everything that you would have done in this loop, and like this extra line of code, should we say, like all in one. So it's kind of like a nice condensed version. Nice condensed version. I mean, you could condense that up to this, and so like say it's a bit closer, but even then you had to sort of like put S in it. So it'd be more like this, which is if I copy this out and put this in here, it would then start looking like this, which is for C in Python, myList.append C. And we can run that and see that we get the same answer. So this plus equals operator on this string is behaving exactly like this for loop on the string where it does list.append. So just something interesting. It wasn't as silly as it could be, but it's probably like, I guess the reason why it was mentioned, and the person that posts this always posts these kinds of things, is that I guess if you knew it and understood it, it'd be fine. But I'd feel like here, it's more readable. So if someone came along and read the code, especially like this is more like a pattern that you're used to. It's more readable. You'd get the code and you'd understand that it's appending letter by letter. Whereas here you're kind of like possibly semi-guessing, and then you might need to put some kind of comment like make a list of characters. There we go. I sort of like made a list. And my little comment over here, if I was to do something like that, you know, go over there and it cost me a line. It's a human readable line. So whereas it possibly did save a line of code, and some people might, in fact, in the comments, it'd be quite interesting for anyone that does watch it if you want to say like a yes or a no. Like we'll call this method 1, and so this one here is method 1. Let's copy that out. And then we'll call our second method 2. If you have I prefer method 2, but I don't want you to bias it. If in the comments, let's see if we have some kind of vote who prefers method 1 and who prefers method 2. And on that note, I think I'll close it. So that's something that's quite cute, which is converting a string to a list of characters in Python. If you like this video, hit the like button. Also, follow and subscribe. That would be fantastic too. And that's it. And yeah, by all means, please do leave your comments. That'd be quite interesting to see what the vote is.